Hi, this is Trivial Punk, and we're playing Doom 3. Alright, I kicked the FPS up to 60, because everything was moving so smooth. And I'm not sure if it was the frames per second, or if they've done something to the game, I'm not sure, because there are things they can do to make things more smooth without just adding more frames. And I was going to leave it because YouTube doesn't generally support 60 frames per second. Most videos are in 30, right? But I read an article while I was messing around with it. I read an article that says that they're thinking about bringing 60 FPS videos to YouTube. So I was like, you know what? Let's use this as a watermark. And when I can tell the difference between these two episodes, then I'll know that the videos are supported, and then I'll start doing all of my videos in 60 frames per second. And we'll just see how this looks too, because I'm not sure what happens when you take a 60 FPS video and you sort of squeeze it into a 30 FPS pair of pants. But we'll find out. Maybe it'll look better, maybe it'll look worse. Who knows? We'll see. Because generally when I finish rendering these things, I render them at 30, but I'm going to render this at 62. Be an experiment, we'll call it. We'll call it an experiment, but it's not one. So we record the data, make a hypothesis. Actually, we do have all those things, so I guess it is kind of an experiment. Let's make a prediction. The 60 frames per second will look smoother, but not so much so that it couldn't have been 30 frames per second. That's our prediction, based on our evidence. We'll find out where that goes. And then we'll make more predictions. Maybe we'll make cool videos. Who knows? Science is not really science. It's basically just putting a hypothesis together. Which is part of science, but not all of science. Right, anyways. Sorry, you all know that. You know these things. Oh, it's dead. My little droid is dead.
Gas leak stopped. Fire extinguished.
Hooray! I have all the button pressing skills.
Paul Rad, Chief Technical Officer for the Enpro facility. During my weekly inspection of the cooling system, I discovered yet another safety violation. As I've stated repeatedly, our service manuals must be followed to the letter. Now, this includes changing back filters for the coolant system on schedule and not when maintenance gets around to it. As you know, unclean back filters will create pressure inside the coolant system's release tubes. Even a minor disruption in the release tube can dislodge or destroy a coolant line, overheating the floor, possibly sending the entire facility up in smoke.
That's bad.
Let me be clear, if I see this again, the team responsible will be transferred to sewage treatment before the day is over.
Yes, please. Transfer the idiots who don't replace the cooling valves into sewage treatment. Because we want them dealing with filters that filter shit. I mean, it's better than blowing up the whole facility, don't get me wrong, I agree. But I still don't think these people should have jobs working with anything that involves filters if they can't change them. It's my opinion as someone who doesn't like to have his walls suddenly explode poo. You know, you're just sitting there, minding your own business. Maybe it's Sunday. You know, you don't have work, you didn't have anything to do all day, you've been sitting around in your pajamas for the last 6 hours, clicking through Tumblr. And then suddenly, out of fucking nowhere, the wall to your right just ruptures and shit just spews out at a high velocity in your face. Now, I know that if you've been on some blogs, it feels that way, but this would be a literal interpretation of that vitriol. I mean, you can't get rid of that effluvia simply by clicking away from people who are angry. This is one of the nice things about... I know it's kind of weird and like frustrating to watch me get lost, but this is one of the nice things about Doom 3, is that there is slightly open-ended environments. Which allows for exploration without being too tedious, honestly. Because, I mean, like, oh look, it's just a small area, but I mean, at least I got to look down a place. I had options, even if the options were only limited. And something about the setup doesn't make that feel stilted. Like, if you're in a giant cave system and you run into, like, weird little, like, nooks and, like, just areas that are strictly there for power upholding, you're like, oh, that's weird. But, I mean, we know for a fact that these places all sort of look, they're all sort of like, they're built like rat mazes. And if you close the door, you're just going to have a dead end. So, I think that it doesn't feel as stilted strictly because of the environment. Like, remember I was talking earlier about the last episode, I was talking about the Spider Queen and how she was like, I was like, that wasn't a spider boss, that was a boss that happened to be a spider. And it's the same thing if you're going into a cave to explore, like if you're, and I think part of it also is your express purpose of entering it. Like if you enter a cave in like an adventure game, you want to go there and explore. You want to find far reaches and discover treasure and look for little nooks and crannies that you didn't see before, or maybe not everyone's going to find, or even you just had to look for. I mean, its exploration is the primary engagement there, and so you're disappointed when you find like a little alleyway that was just supposed to be like just, it's strictly, you know, it was put there to hold the power up in it. I mean, that always disappoints me. I don't know about you. And I'm like, oh, look, I went down this way, and it was to hold this power up. Great. And it doesn't disappoint me all the time, but it disappoints me when the reason I'm there is to find cool things and solve interesting puzzles and explore. I mean, it doesn't... I know that in both situations it's an entirely contrived environment, so exploration is itself kind of a funny thing. And I know I'm not commenting on the action at all because I'm just killing imps. Not really. I'll be doing this for hours. But, like, I know they're both contrived environments, but it doesn't have to feel like they're contrived. Like I said last time, subjectivity is key. I mean, sometimes all you have to do is make it so someone had to jump in a pit or climb up a wall, and it makes them feel like they discovered something, as opposed to walking into two different doors, and one of them leads to a small area with a treasure, the other one is the rest of the game. That's not really exploring. It's playing Doom 3, and these are linear environments, but it's a linear game, so I forgive it for that on an emotional level, because that's the engagement I'm searching for when I go to that game. This game, I suppose. As opposed to how people feel disappointed that some of the caves in Skyrim aren't as big as they could be. Especially considering it's fucking Skyrim. Just leave the cave and there are hundreds of caves. If you're wondering why I turned back, it's because it's saved, which tells me that that's the way I'm supposed to go, probably. Oh, there's a baby crying! Do you remember earlier when that person was like, they took my baby? I know I'm slow because I was young when I played this game, but I think I just figured out where the little babies come from. That's disturbing. See? That's fucking disturbing! That's thematic horror. If maybe there had been a spider broodmother and she had hatched those goddamn fucking demon babies and thrown them at me, that would have been terrifying, maybe. It would have at least been thematically appropriate. And still basically the same boss mechanics, only with mobs. Oh, this was just a person crying, not a baby. Oh man. You okay? I don't think she's okay. I don't think we're gonna be okay either if we keep using a shotgun. We need something with a little more reach. And we have the plasma gun now, so why not use it? That person had a name, eh? Hello, Teresa Chazar.
This is the audio log of weapon analyst Teresa Chazar, dated November 3rd, 2145. Service bridge. I'm pleased to report that the preliminary tests on the ammo storage in the new Mach 3 plasma gun has far exceeded our expectations. We realized a full 50% gain in the storage capacity of ammo packs as a result of utilizing techniques engineered in the Alpha Lab's molecular compactor. I believe with the ongoing compaction research, we will reach our goal of 3 times the plasma storage currently available in standard ammo packs.
Nice.
I would also like to mention that all of the employees here at the Enpro plant have been very helpful and quite eager to accommodate all of my requests. For security reasons, I've locked the plasma gun and the extra ammo in locker 063 with door code 972. End of lock.
Fantastic. I needed more of those things. I will never not have enough of them. Sorry, I will never not need more of them. because I will never get enough of having a plasma gun. I mean, I'll hit a capacity, but that's not my choice. I love how they make like a sound, like you're just like, I don't know, like you made them spill their Starbucks or something. Like they're like, oh my god, I can't believe. All right, we'll evacuate. Let's make sure. Where are we gonna go, by the way? That's my question on Mars. Like, they've pretty much invaded the entire planet, which is going to be a problem on Earth, too. Earth as well, if there's not an Earth, too. But, I mean, still, there's nowhere we can go. We just jump outside and hide from the demons where there's no oxygen. It's gonna be fine. I mean, just get back to Earth. I'm sure I won't bring any of this hell with me. It's not like there's literally a line in the song that says hell follows with me. Hell follows with everyone. I know that's like a totally unrelated song, but it came to mind, so I said it. Ow! I've been playing too much Shovel Knight. I was like, alright, I'm gonna just bat that back at him. Which, by the way, is an awesome game. Also, it helps you date when I'm doing this recording right now. Just for, continuity purposes. You know. For, reasons. Like, there's not a date under the file or anything. There's nothing I'm missing, is there? It seems like a really easy... Oh, this is the plasma gun. I think I saw a little Y thing pop up there. Whew! It is warm down here. Glad I'm in my special power armor that protects me from heat. I hope. Is there a way to stop that?
Louise, gotta find that transmission card. If Swan gets his hands on it, I don't know what.
Send a transmission would be my guess. Look at that! You got a little Y in there. See that? You can either click or you can press the Y button. Now that is intuitive design. Do you know how many games I played lately where they had no prompts whatsoever? Or when I had the gamepad, like I was gonna record Sir, You Are Being Hunted, because it looked interesting. I mean, stealth gameplay with robots, it seems like a good idea. But I couldn't, for the life of me, figure out the control scheme for the gamepad. Because I can't use my keyboard, I have a mechanical keyboard. It makes so much clacking you'd think something racist. I don't know why I said racist. I said clacking, and it seemed like, well, there's gotta be some, like, someone who thinks some race somewhere makes a clacking sound. Like, now I'm guessing at what people are being racist about. That's where I am in my life right now. It's an interesting place. But, no, the thing is like, something about clacking. It was a weird thing. I was like, what? Clacking? And then I completely forgot what I was talking about. I'm sure it wasn't that important, and if it was, I'll remember it later. So let's keep moving. I think that imp hit a... No. No. How far did that kick us back? Oh, not that far. Oh! Maybe that barrel. What is this thing? I don't know if I know that thing. Like, it's just another hell creature, but I don't know if I know that model. Clacking? What the hell was I talking about clacking for? It's gonna bug me now. Ah! Alright, we're doing this right this time. We're gonna blow up the barrels in the room. weird. You know when you're talking and then you lose your train of thought and you're like, oh, what was I just... Or you're like, what word was I thinking about? Yeah, that's my life, except it happens when I'm recording, so I can look back and be like, how did you not remember?
Reactor core temperature, 900 degrees Celsius.
Of course, it looks red and evil. If you make something look red and evil, of course it's eventually going to overheat. There's a law. Replace rod 2. Is there no way we could do this, like have an automatic system that says like when it gets to a certain temperature and there is pressure buildup, etc. hit this button?
Do you see the card?
No, sir.
I don't want to make a 3 Mile Island joke.
Communications facility. We can stop the transmission from there.
Whatever you say, Counselor.
That's the first thing I thought of. Like seriously, do you know the history behind it? Like the design choices that led to it occurring? It's an interesting story. I'd go check it out. I did check it out. That's why I know it's an interesting story.
Online.
All right. Good. So we're not gonna blow up yet. Oh, now it's not red. Okay, so it was like a life bar or something, like a morality system. It's like now the core is red and angry. Obey the... Don't throw fireballs at the core! I think it's shielded. That's the excuse we're gonna use. Okay, now I don't know where we're going. Although there are things spawning, so that means we're probably going in the right direction. Alright. Let's quick save. Oh yeah, so you were being hunted. Right, okay. Mechanical keyboard, that's where we were. The elevator reminded me of what I was talking about when I was talking about clacking. I was talking about my mechanical keyboard making clacking sounds so I can't record. I was thinking about playing some games and then retroactively recording, but I have to figure out what that would be fun to do. But anyways, yeah, so the control scheme was totally messed up, and I couldn't figure out what the gamepad controls were. And all of the in-game prompts were for the keyboard. And everything was designed around assuming you were using the keyboard, which really seems like a bad choice if you're going to provide the option. Like, I was trying to play Devil May Cry 3 today, because I was like, I want to do a warm-up game to see if I still remember how to do this, because I do that every single time I Let's Play. Like, well, let's try a game that I don't know if I'm going to like, so that I can practice talking and playing. Yeah, so I went to play Devil May Cry 3, and the default gamepad control scheme, I mean, besides the fact that I couldn't get it to actually go full screen, but I mean, that's an artist's choice. But the gamepad control scheme was move around with the right stick, activate was B, like, it was just nuts, it was bananas. I had no idea what the fuck they were at, what they were going on about, what their plan was. I just couldn't play the game. I stopped. And I tried to change the default control scheme on both Sir You Were Being Hunted and Devil May Cry, but I couldn't control the walking around. I couldn't map that to my Xbox 360 controller's joystick, and therefore it was useless. Didn't play. I mean, I could probably have learned the new Devil May Cry control scheme, but I played Devil May Cry 3 a lot when I was young. I got a lot of those things, like, down pat. Like, that's what makes me good at the game, is the fact that I've played it a lot. And, I mean, I have general gamer abilities. And so, like asking me to relearn the control scheme is a completely different game. I enjoy Devil May Cry 3. That's why I bought Devil May Cry 3, because I wanted to play Devil May Cry 3, not some really shitty version where the controls don't make any sense. But I could go through and map it, but I was just like there's a long process to figuring out what games I'm going to play, because there are 551 of them on my Steam count alone. And a lot of them are like Humble Bundle stuff, so a lot of them are like 9 different Sherlock Holmes point-and-click adventure games. And I would love to play those, except again, keyboard. Yeah, totally bizarre control schemes. But so, like, if you're gonna put gamepad controls into your game, then make sure that they're, you know, done well. I mean, we've spent forever designing gamepads. We've got a lot of research into how people use these things, and we've got tons and tons of backup information that people have from using these things. So why not take advantage of that information instead of just ignoring it? I don't understand it. Maybe it's a lot of work, but it doesn't seem like it would be, considering a lot of the time it takes me like 5 minutes to change the control pad scheme to something worthwhile. Not worthwhile, just something that makes intuitive sense to me. Which, let's be honest, could be different for different people, but some of them don't make any sense at all. Let's be fair here. As much as we want to, you know, give the devs the benefit of the doubt, some of the control schemes that come as default, especially if it's like this game was designed for this, but now we're putting on this because we want you to have it. If you want us to have it, then make sure that it's done well, or we might as well not fucking have it, because we don't want to play a shitty version of your game. We like your game. That's why we got it. So yeah, be mindful of that. You're gonna put gamepad controls in. Do it well. Otherwise, I don't know why you're just putting them in so that we'll buy it. But if they're bad, then why did we buy it? That's all I gotta say on that. I mean, I've been actually pretty constantly blown away by some really, really good control schemes lately. Like, I'm still impressed by Final Fantasy XIV's inclusion. What I wasn't impressed by was that I wanted to play Dragon Age Origins on here, but they gave me no option to use a gamepad. And considering that you can use it, considering that it's made for systems that use gamepads, it doesn't seem like it would be hard to port that over, or even make it as an option. I don't know though, that's the thing, I don't know if it would be hard. Because those kind of input and UI schemes are pretty, like, the game itself are well tied into it. It just, so I mean, like, if you're gonna design for the PC, you're gonna be like, oh no, I'm gonna make sure that we use, because PC has a lot of different input methods, and when the game is complicated as that, you're gonna want to give your player as much intuitive control as you can, so why would you limit yourself? But at the same time, if that UI is available in a different version of the game, it would be nice if you could use it, you know? I'd love to be able to Let's Play Dragon Age, because I wanted to do some exploration, I wanted to play an RPG. At the end of the day, I ended up with Skyrim, but that is literally a gig a minute. If I want to record Skyrim, my computer has to be as free as I can make it. And even then, some of it's jittery and buggy, and you know, it's Skyrim. We love Skyrim for the reasons we love Skyrim, but I mean, let's be honest, occasionally it's buggy. But I'll make it work. It's on here right now, it should be interesting. Let's see what... I'm rolled a weird character. I've never played that specific type of character. Like, I rolled for the morality ahead of time, because I think I'm going to do that, because that sounds interesting. Like, I'd love to play Dishonored as like a lawful good guy, because I think that'd be like, what the fuck do you even do? But yeah, I think it would make the game simultaneously more difficult and more interesting.
Over here.
What's up, dude?
We were hit.
Looks like it.
I don't know how much farther I can go. Here, take the transmission card. We can't stay here. Isn't safe. We better move.
Yeah, these are definitely new monsters. One of the things I like about this is that it sets up a villain for the whole game. And I mean, you know someone's gonna turn evil at some point because it's a game. But I like that they definitely put the effort in and I mean, this was a fairly early game, so we weren't as cynical about it then. But yeah, I don't know, I like Doom 3. I know a lot of people hate this game, and I mean, I understand because I'm a horror fan too. And I'm also an action gamer fan, so it's like a weird mesh of the two that doesn't always make sense. But I mean, let's be honest, it's not that bad. If you're going to Doom 3 to play Doom 3. If you're expecting something else, I think maybe it would be a letdown. But I mean, that's the same thing with everything. If you're expecting something else, it's probably going to be a letdown. Alright. giant flaming dinosaur heads are gonna have to wait. We need to get inside. Alright, so we're running out of plasma bolts, so we're gonna give the plasma gun a wee bit of a break.
Hey, get your ass to the communications facility as quickly as possible. We've got to get that message to the fleet.
Is that really a good idea? Really want more people here? Oh, is this your version of don't question the plan? You're just gonna warp in demons? Warp in demons like demons can change my mind. Ah, what's happening? You're melting! In midair. What a horrendous way to go. This guy, he's just like, whoa, what's going on? Whoa, what are you shooting at me? Stop shooting at me! What's happening? Oh man, that guy had a bad fucking day. His face got eaten off. That's what happened here. Like, if you look at the bodies, some of them tell stories. It's okay. I would have liked to have gotten a better look at that creature. I was busy telling a story about corpses. That's like a lot of my life, honestly. I write macabre stuff because, you know, horror. And so, like, I was thinking earlier when I was talking about how, like, I was comparing things to horror games. I do that a lot because I write a lot of horror. I talk about horror. Watch horror. So of course I understand the world through horror. Well, anyways, so yeah, like, I write a lot. What's up, dude? Macabre stuff. So it's not really that unusual for me to be telling a story about a corpse. As long as it's not actually a corpse and it's just a video game corpse. Because I like to respect the actual dead. Because they were alive. It's that whole respecting human life thing again. It's psychology that affects a lot of my life. I spent years studying it after all. But equally, I think that comes from Ranma 1/2 too. I don't know. You never know all of the things that inform your morality a lot of the time. Because, I mean, it's basically like everything you've experienced in your life you use to figure this stuff out, right? I can't, like, go back through time and tell you every single thing that happened. When people try to do that, they're like, oh, it was this one point. And I was like, well, what got you to the point where you thought that was a reasonable idea? Well, I don't know. Well, it's important, so maybe think about it. It's a little bit preachy, isn't it? Oh, saving! I have 17 fucking health! Thank God the thing saved. I have 21 health. Thank God the thing saved. Alright, so... don't explode! Ah, so that's your plan, eh? I think these imps bring these explosive barrels with them. I think those barrels are actually from hell. I don't think they were here at all, because they use those barrels a lot. Like, a lot of their strategies seem to revolve around the barrels. Which is unusual for any sort of demonic entity to rely entirely on explosive barrels, especially when at this time in gaming history we were using explosive barrels to kill demons quite a bit. Seems weird to ally with your greatest enemy. I wish I just had a melee I could use, you know? I'm so used to that, like getting him down to very little health, running out of ammo, and popping him in the face. Instead of having to switch over. This is the beauty of the flashlight. Well, not really, because you gotta have it out. You know, I just like having a melee. Doesn't always make sense, though. It doesn't always balance a game, sometimes it makes it unbalanced. Oh look, guys with chainsaws! That's scary, right? Tight corridors and a chainsaw. Except I had tight corridors and a shotgun. Which isn't as helpful when you have to reload. Okay, so we have a chainsaw now. You guys want to just use the chainsaw for a little while? I mean, might as well. It's making the controllers shake. Oh, baby. New fighting tactic! One-man phalanx. Doesn't work very well when there are walls around. Bring it, Pinky! Sorry. Flashbacks to the movie. Alright, that's probably enough of that. Oh, power. Why are all the lights on? I'm glad they're on. I've been working on the second. See, that's how you make horror game decisions. This way is a fiery pit of abyss. This way is a dead-end hallway. Check the dead-end hallway, maybe there'll be something, then go into the fiery pit of the abyss. That's your reward! Maybe that's why I think about things so weirdly in video games, because I think the award is the fiery pit of death, not the item. Which makes sense in a way, depending on the game you're playing. God. Alright, so we're gonna save and probably call it here, honestly. It looks like we're entering a new area with like a lot of different like switches and stuff. If I remember correctly, this is like a track. We have to drive it around a little bit, and that'll be a whole thing in and of itself. one of the reasons that jump scares don't work quite as well in Doom, the shotgun. Because it becomes your response. You're like, jump scare, shotgun in face. And you're actually like, oh good, it was really close, so it'll be an easy kill, lots of damage, and it's a good thing for you. Whereas like, if you have a rifle out, and you're like, well, I can't hit the thing! Or like a pistol rather. You panic for half a second while you try to draw a bead on it. Now, if that happens too much, eventually you just learn to draw a bead with a pistol and survive. But if you catch someone off guard like that, it's fine. And but this thing right here is part of what makes the jump scares in this game ineffective, is because you eventually just learn not to be frightened. And that's the whole thing. With horror, you teach someone to be frightened by giving them an environment wherein it is okay for them to be frightened. And producing novel situations to catch them off guard. It can get difficult to do after a while, but it's part of it. There's a lot of different ways to produce horror though, so let's not pretend that there is only one or two different ways. Because horror as a human experience is incredibly varied. Anyways, yeah, so the shotgun just basically teaches you a reflex action for safety. And because it's also partially a power fantasy, you're not really scared. Because you're like, ah, shotgun in the face, yeah, I'm amazing. So it doesn't frighten you. And why? It's partially because of this thing. Alright, so that's probably enough for today. Or this segment anyways. I'm Trivial Punk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you...
Service lift called to station.
On the service lift. See ya.